So every now and then you get a chance to chop it up with Mary Day. Mary, good morning. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing great, Chris. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on.
So I've talked to a lot of people in my lifetime, and I like to listen to people's inspirational stories. Everyone like has a story to tell. I got this new Lamborghini and oh, I got this big house and I got this big pool. I actually like the story about, hey, how did you overcome your challenges in life? Like, what did it feel like when you literally sat there and you're crying, you're in tears, you're like, oh my God, I can't fucking see how I'm going to get out of this, and then somehow you do. I want to hear those stories because a lot of people always say, I look at my Lambo. I just bought this Lambo. I got a hot Lambo. Who cares about the fucking Lambo? Talk to me about your
Right.
challenges and let me know how you got through those challenges. Tell everyone three of the biggest challenges that you overcome in life and how you did it.
Where to start? Where to start? I will start with telling you this just to set the tone, right? I was raised in a Mormon family. And for anybody who's not familiar with the Latter-day Saints religion, it's very, very high pressure, very all consuming. It consumes all part of your life. And that's how I was raised. I was raised with a really religious dad. Um, and that was tough. That was really tough. There were a lot of expectations and indoctrination for the expectations of my life. Like I was raised to be a mom and a wife. That was it. There was no talk of career. They were like, go to college, get an education just in case, but you probably won't need it. So I got married when I was 20. I couldn't even drink. Not that I was going to, because it's not part of the Mormon religion, right? But I got married when I was 20. I was just a baby. And I tell you that to set it up this story of how I was married and became divorced. I was married for about 13 years. I had three kids in 6 years. They were all about 2 years apart. He did some shit. I did some shit. We decided to call it quits, right? I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty, but it broke my heart. It broke my heart to think that I had not lived up to those expectations that my parents had for me, that I was, letting my kids down. And what was I going to do? I graduated from college in 2003, right before my first son was born. I was 6 months pregnant and I had no marketable skills at that time. I graduated with a degree in public relations. Now I learned how to create media kits, write newspaper articles, magazines, all of that stuff, which we don't really have anymore, right? Like, when do you see someone getting a newspaper? Never, never. So all of those skills were a moot point at this stage, right? So I had been working at a little shoe store, Famous Footwear, and I only got the job because I knew the guy that ran the store, and he was like, "You're my buddy. I'll let you, I'll give you a job." And he even told me like in the personality quiz, like what to say, so that I passed the personality quiz.
Wait a
He
second.
gave
You got to
me
take a personality test to work at Famous Footwear?
You did at the time I went there. Yep. Yep. So it's one of those where it like asks you the same question like five different ways to try and trip you up. Anyway, ended up passing it the second time. And I wasn't making much, but when I found myself divorced, that was all I had. That was all I had was this little job that paid 15 bucks an hour. I I can't afford a house on that. And during the divorce, my ex-husband said, "I want to keep the house." And I said, "Cool, but you'll have to buy me out, right? I mean, that's the way it goes." So I had peanuts for child support and alimony. He didn't have a great job. He's a graphic designer. He's great at what he does. He just doesn't make a lot of money. It's true what they say with the starving artist, right? So I end up going to government subsidized housing. And yes, I was in Utah, but still it was kind of scummy. The apartment wasn't great. I had bugs. My refrigerator didn't even close all the way. And it was a tough year for me. I even had to accept help for Christmas for my kids. And that's something that I never wanted to do because growing up with my dad, we didn't have money. And we were always looking for, oh, who's going to pay him? Or what job is he going to get next? What's his next big idea that's going to cost us money and not pay back? So that was really hard. to swallow my pride and be like, I love my kids more than the pride I have. So that was tough. And I ended up getting a call center job. And if anybody has ever worked in a call center, like you have my total respect because I hate it. I hate being on the phone.
I
I
used
hate
to
talking.
train a call center down in Tampa, Florida, and it was a big building. We had, I think at our peak, we had like 10,000 workers that were working. And this was back in the day when AT&T, Sprint, and MCI were all fighting for long distance carrier service. And it's funny because you learn more about sales doing a call center job than you will ever learn in college. And you
Totally.
learn very quickly to get thick skin because a lot of people will tell you, no, no, fuck off, no, 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 fuck, fuck, fuck off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I tell people, take those jobs when you're young because what you
Totally.
learn there will make you so much stronger for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And I had a call center job when I was in college. And I hated it because I don't have thick skin. I mean, I think I've grown into that and somebody can say fuck you. And I'm like, okay, moving on, like next, right? It doesn't bother me. So I just took it all too personal. But I got a call center job because I had to. I was making $25,000 a year from that little job. You cannot survive on that. I don't care. It's not 1938. Like you can't survive on $25,000. So I was working that job and I was working my famous footwear job. So I was working both. So not only was I working during the week, I was working nights, weekends, holidays, and still trying to get quality time with my kids. Oh, and also I was a triathlete. So I was training for these half Ironmans, which was taking hours and hours of training. So one day I was working at the shoe store and I always had my Ironman lanyard, which was against policy, by the way. My friend told me, he's like, you have to have a famous
You're
footwear
such a rebel.
lanyard.
You're such a rebel.
And I was like, I'm not doing that. Sorry. Like if the GM comes in and sees me, I'll just be like, oh, I didn't know.
Shout out to my buddy Nick Lowry from my Super
Heck
Bowl lanyard.
yeah. I love it. So one
Nick's
night
in
a man
Phoenix,
came
your
in.
neck of the woods.
Oh, nice. We'll have to get together for drinks, shoot the shit a little bit. I love it. So I was closing up the store one night and this guy comes in and we were just shooting the shit, talking about stuff. And he was asking me about my Iron Man lanyard. And, I'm giving him great customer service as I always do. And as we're talking, he like stopped and he was like, you fit in really well with my team at Beachbody.
I'm
And
your
I was
team at
like,
what?
Beachbody.
Oh, Beachbody.
Yeah. And if nobody knows what that is, it's now Body, but they made at-home workout programs with Tony Horton, Shaun T. Uh, one of the more popular ones now is Autumn Calabrese. So I was like, oh my gosh, I've used your programs. I know Beachbody. Like I could get a job there. Like blow my mind,
My
right?
buddy was Billy Blanks. I don't know if you remember Billy Blanks.
Yep, yep. But he wasn't part of Beachbody, but he
No,
definitely
no.
was. Yeah,
He
he
did
was
he
his
did a
own thing.
different workout. It was karate based
Tybo.
workout. Yeah, Tybo.
Tybo. Yep.
Yeah, Tybo.
I did those in high school, so I know exactly what it is. So yeah, he's talking to me and I was like, can you wait a second? I'm pretty sure I have a resume in my car. I run out to my car and the only resume I have left is one that had been stepped on. So it had like a big footprint on it. And I was like, I could get you a new one. I could email you one. He's like, this is great. Just watch the job board for when something comes up. Use me as a reference. We're good. So I emailed him, back and forth and whatever. There weren't any job openings at that time. So in the meantime, I'm still working the call center job. And as I'm at the call center job, I'm like, fuck this shit. Like, I'm not staying on the phones. Like, I want to get out of this position. And there were a bunch of different departments. So I was working really hard at making connections with the department leads, asking about what they do, talking myself up at lunchtime. And eventually, one of the department leads was like, hey, we have this opening. Do you want to apply for it? Well, duh, of course I did. So, as I'm trying to work that angle, making my life better no matter what, like I'm going to grow where I'm planted. And kind of seeing this thing at Beachbody, maybe a slim possibility. Listen, I was a stay-at-home mom for 12 years. So not only were my skills from college unimportant, unrelatable at this time, I didn't have any work experience for like 12 years, 12 to 15 years, no work experience in the work world because I was a stay-at-home mom. So I'm thinking no one's going to want to hire me because I'm old news. And eventually, Beachbody had an opening. I jumped on that shit so hard. So got my resume in, talked to this guy, emailed him back and forth. I'm starting to have interviews with them, and their interview process was a couple months. Like you'd go in, you'd meet with some people, a couple weeks later, you'd meet with someone else, that kind of thing.
That's
So
actually
I'm
good.
still
The
bust.
fact that they take a couple of months to get to know you, that's super important. I think that's great.
And it made sure that I was interested in the job, right? I had to take time and invested in the process as well. So I think that's really smart.
Super
But
smart.
still,
I think more companies should do that.
absolutely. So even with that going on, I'm still grinding at this call center to get off the phones. So the day I go in to sign the promotion that I was getting from the call center, I had just signed it. I was so excited. I was like, yes, I got a little tiny raise. It's going to be awesome. I don't have to be on the phone anymore. This is great. Then I get a call as I'm sitting at my desk. It's a number from California. I run into the hallway and I answer it, and it's Beachbody. And they offered me a job for double what I was making. And I was like, I was in the hallway and I was like crouched over crying. And I realize now how like desperate that seems. But like I felt like I had made it. Like I fucking did that. That was me. I made that happen. So I accepted the job at Beachbody. I told them like, sorry guys, I got this offer. And they were like, there's no way we can match that salary. So, thanks for your time. Peace out. And my time at Beachbody was great. After 2 years, after 2 years of working at Beachbody, they were like, we're going to give you a raise because your salary doesn't match everyone else on your team. Everyone's making more than you. So we need things to match up. They gave me an 11% raise. That is unheard of. You get your 2.5%, 3% merit raise. And I thought I had won the lottery. Seriously, I had never even had the concept of that much
Were you
money.
working in California or Utah at the time?
I was working in a satellite office in Utah.
Got it.
Yeah. So there was just a little office there and just a very small team of like the regional managers and the recognition department.
What were
So,
you
and the
exactly
legal.
doing, by the way?
It was a regional manager. So we had what's called coaches, and their model has completely changed now. But the coaches were independent contractors and they would sell the workout programs and the consumables. They have a product called Shakeology. So that's kind of where the company makes its money is through the Shakeology sales. And then the workout programs, they don't make them quite as much money. So my job was to help these coaches look at their business, mentor them, tell them about strategies and tactics to increase their business and their income. I did that for probably 6 years, and I
Wow.
was damn good at it. I was damn good at it. And what they did was they would put me in a region because the United States was separated into regions. They would put me in a region for like 2 years. They would see the numbers go up and they're like, you know what? This other region is kind of struggling. So we're going to shuffle you and put you over here. I was never in a region for more than 2.5 years. That was tough because you
So
start
it's
to
interesting. You were constantly facing challenges when they put you in a new region.
absolutely, these
Talk a little
people
bit
didn't know
about
who I was.
facing a challenge.
So when they're putting me in a new region, first of all, they probably don't know who you are, right? And a lot of times you didn't have the predecessor to introduce you to all of these people. So pretty much you're getting an Excel sheet with names on it. And they're like, Get on the phone, call them, see what's going on. Remember, Mary doesn't do the phone, doesn't do the phone. But I had to. I had to call these people. I had to text them, had to get on Facebook Messenger or whatever. And of course, they're thinking, who is this girl? It's like spam or whatever. So every single time I moved, I had to get better and better at creating relationships with these people. And I was good at it. I'm really good at creating relationships and gaining trust because I don't bullshit you. Like, I'm going to give it to you straight. And that's what people liked about Mary Day. By the time I left, most of the field knew me because I had been on stage. I had worked with someone they had in their downline. So they knew the name Mary Day. Like, she's a no bullshitter. She will hand it to you straight. And I was the queen of tough love. But it was hard. It was really hard to go through
Well,
that.
growing up, my grandmother raised me with a wooden spoon. And, it's funny. If I got out of line, she'd crack me with a wooden spoon. If I didn't pay attention, she'd crack me with a wooden spoon. If I was tired, she'd wake me up with a wooden spoon. If I was mouthy at the dinner table, she'd hit my knuckles with a wooden spoon.
Oh,
And to these days, I don't even know. I don't even know if you can parent that way. I think you go straight to jail. But I tell people this story because that woman taught me more with a wooden spoon about tough love, about discipline, about paying attention, about learning, listening, and applying. You know, it's amazing like how much you can learn in life with a little bit of tough love. And I think God sometimes wants to give us a little tough love. Sometimes he gives us a challenge just to toughen us up. Like you're too soft. I need to toughen you up.
exactly. Yeah. And that was something that I had to work for. But within 2 years, I was then making more than my ex-husband,
How did that feel?
which it felt so fucking good. It felt so fucking good. And to be in Utah, Utah is the place that has the biggest gap between men and women and their wages. So for me to be a woman in that position, I was like, nothing is going to stop me.
How do you like
Nothing.
Utah?
Well, I live in Arizona now, but Utah is great if you find the right people to hang out with.
I'm thinking
And
about spending the summer up there because the weather is better in Utah in the summer than it is in Vegas. And in
absolutely
Vegas, it gets to like 120 and it's like unbearable. Like you can't even walk your.
gross. Yeah, it's not. I mean, it'll get into the hundreds, but it's not yucky like that. I mean, AZ is the same way. You just can't go outside in the summer.
Oh my God.
But
Like Arizona. I went to visit a friend of mine in Arizona. We went to a restaurant and he had a Mercedes with a dashboard and he left his iPhone on the dashboard. And we
yeah, you
came
don't do
back
that.
after like an hour of eating and his iPhone was melted into the dashboard. And
Oh,
I was like, this place fucking sucks. You guys are
yeah.
crazy. And then what do I do? That was when I was living in Chicago. What do? I moved to Vegas and I'm like, okay, it may not be like Arizona, but it's right on the doorstep.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Arizona's great, but it does get hot. And Utah has a little bit more flora. There's a lot more trees but like I said, you got to find the right people because there are a lot of Mormons there and you know, take your pick your battles, and you don't drink, so the liquor laws aren't going to bother you, but they're dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. At the end of the day, um, everything that I've done stupid in my lifetime has been around liquor. And I think there's a lot of people that could probably say that same thing.
Yeah,
So I always tell people, I'm not going to tell you to live a sober life for my sake. I would tell people to live a sober life for their sake. And
right.
it'll help them avoid doing stupid shit. Because pretty
Hmm.
much almost every story that I've ever heard in my lifetime when somebody does something stupid. All right, so I was out drinking and then I did this. And then I got
Exactly.
arrested. Okay, so I was out drinking and then I did this and I slept with this guy. Okay. I think the common denominator was you were out drinking.
Exactly.
And people,
Exactly.
it's funny because I think people would think after a while, because it took me a while to learn, okay, I was out drinking and then I went to jail. Okay. Okay. I see the, okay. Yeah. Correlation. Okay.
Mm,
So I tell
exactly. Yep.
people, don't live a sober life for me. live a sober life for you.
Hmm. Exactly. Yeah. And with me being sober with my time in the church, I'm like, it's almost like a fuck you, like if I want to have a glass of wine, I'm going to have a glass of wine. And I drink my devil coffee juice every single morning. And
You're
it's like a
double
fuck
what?
you. Devil.
Oh,
You're
coffee
not
juice.
allowed to drink. Yeah. You're not allowed to drink coffee in the Mormon church.
I'll be honest with you. I'm all about the coffee. In fact, I literally have a gift that a friend of mine gave me. It's four coffee mugs stacked on top of each other, and I literally have
Love
coffee
it.
mugs here at my desk. And I'll be honest with you. You haven't lived till you've gotten your own French press. Like,
Oh.
have you ever tried French press coffee?
So my roommate in college had one of those,
Okay, so
but that
listen.
was when I wasn't drinking coffee.
You grind your own beans, you put them in here, and then you add hot water, and then you press it. It's
Hmm.
You can make it as strong or as not strong as you want. I'm not kidding you. French press, it's the best coffee you ever had.
It's amazing. I'll have to try it. We have an espresso, which we like, but
Espresso is good. I like strong coffee. Like I love good strong. It's funny, people go to Starbucks and they give me the triple pump there and the quadruple pump there.
yeah. Ugh.
They put like 90 grams of sugar in the coffee. And then I order like black coffee. And they're like, well, black. I'm like, it's coffee. They're black. It's coffee. Put a pump in. No, it's coffee.
No.
I've
Yeah.
had people try my coffee. Let me try that. What does it taste like? Oh, it's coffee. They're like, oh God. Oh God.
It's like acid.
I'm like, it's coffee. People don't even realize what good coffee tastes like anymore. Like
True.
I don't know if you've ever had Kona coffee from Hawaii. And by the way, let me be very clear about this. 100% Kona, like the
Hmm.
good stuff.
A
Because
lot of people try and mix it.
a lot of stuff at the store is 5% Kona bean, 95% Arabic. Well,
Hmm.
that's just, you might as well just get Arabic coffee, which by the way is great. I love strong Arabic coffee. But Kona coffee, 100% Kona, has that hint of pineapple, got a little sweetness to it. It is
Hmm.
so good. And the crazy thing is, I literally still to this day like order like $60 bags of Kona. Granted, it's only like 24-ounce bags, but like you
They're
get a
small.
bag of Kona. But I treat that stuff like it's like gold. Like I make it sparingly every now and then. I'm like, oh God, I love this stuff.
There's a little place that we go to when we go to Kona. It's in the cloud forest and it's a coffee bean place. It's super cool. It's called Thunder Mountain, I think.
Oh my God,
But that's a
I get coffee from those guys. It's called Thunder
shut,
Mountain. Yeah, it's a blue
shut
bag.
up.
It's a blue label.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that place. I know that place. I literally
Oh
do know
my
that place.
gosh. That's
Yeah, no, I
crazy.
love that place. I've never been there, but I go on Amazon and I buy their stuff.
You gotta go.
Well,
Oh, you gotta go.
Well, I've been to Hawaii. I went to Turtle Bay Resort and hung out in the bay for a while, and I love Maui. And yeah, I love everything about Hawaii. It's the
Yeah.
people are great, the culture is great, the weather is great, the water is. The only thing that you should probably be aware of when they tell you, and you're surfing for the first time in your life, don't go over there where the lava rocks are. Aim right for the sand. You got to get right for the sand. So I'm coming into the bay and I'm on this like, surf and it's like a 5 foot wave and it's just carrying me. And I'm like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. And on a surfboard, it's awesome, but you don't have really like control. There's no steering
Steer.
wheel. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going off to the right here and I'm like, don't worry about it. It's like, what's a lava rock, right? Lava rock. What? No
Oh
big deal.
no.
So I get off the board into the lava rocks. It turns out those black things are like razor blades. And I cut up
Yeah.
like crazy. I had to have them wrapped for the rest of the trip. And the guy that I hand the board to, I'm like, okay, you really didn't sell the whole lava rock thing as well as you should have. Maybe you should have fucking told people it will chew you up like a great white shark.
It will.
I mean,
Yeah.
have you
Those
ever
things are
thought about
gnarly.
scaring the shit out of people? Say, listen, if you go there, you will die.
Yeah.
Try those words.
Yeah. It will take your blood for sure.
I was like, what's going on here? You got to really sell people on that stuff. You got to say, hey, this is death. This is imminent death. Avoid the lava rock.
Yes. Well, glad you've recovered and no
Yes.
sharks came after you. So
Well, I will
that's
say
plus.
one thing. When I was in Hawaii, people like don't freak out about the sharks out there. They're like, oh, it's a shark. Like I was on my board and there's a fin coming by. And like
Oh,
growing up as a kid, I saw Jaws one, two, three. Don't fucking ever watch Jaws if you're ever going to be out on a surfboard because trust me, all you're thinking about is fucking great white shark. And I'm like, I saw the fin come by, and I'm just like slowly, I'm like going towards the sand. I'm like, let me get the fuck out of here. He's like, no, 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 that's a little one. I'm like, let me get the fuck out of here. That's a little one.
wow.
Let me get the fuck out of here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, little or not, they'll still bite you.
Well, the funny thing is, people in Hawaii, that's a shark. It's just a little, it's a shark. It's a tiger shark. I'm like, let me get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, like now.
Yeah, no, like, but people in Hawaii, they're like, it's a shark. It's just a shark. I'm like, let me get the fuck out of here.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah. But Kona's great. Yeah, if you ever have a chance to go to the Big Island, 100%
Yeah,
recommend.
yeah, and the coffee they grow down in Hawaii is just the
Yeah.
best.
It is chef's kiss.
Yep.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about some of the things that you've learned from facing challenges, because in life, everyone's got a challenge right now. Everyone has a challenge, and it's how you face those challenges that determines your character.
100% agree. As I've worked through the challenges in my life, and there have been plenty, leaving the Mormon church, getting divorced, having to create a life for myself, identity confusion as far as like, who is Mary Day? Like, who is she? And people always say, you got to find yourself, right? And when I
I
was
read your
going,
bio yesterday, so I actually know who Mary Day is.
who the fuck Mary Day is?
That's right.
But people were always like, take time, find yourself. And that is bullshit, Chris. Finding yourself is bullshit. What I will tell you is you need to create yourself. Because if I sat
Ooh, I
around,
actually like that. Finding yourself is bullshit. You need to create yourself. Go into that a little bit deeper. I like that. That's actually super important.
absolutely. So going through this journey, I was like, okay, I'll sit around and wait for something to happen to me so I can find out who I am. Instead of saying, I want to be a wealthy, generous, humble, wonderful mother, a badass boss. Like, I started to think of things and see things in other people that I wanted. I wanted to be that. I didn't want to be a wife that sits behind, does the dishes every day and does the laundry, whatever. Like, no, I wanted to be someone who was inspiring. I wanted to be someone who helped others create themselves, not find themselves, create themselves.
I actually love
And
that.
when they came to me and they said, let's say, for example, a consultant comes to me. They say, I want to make $10,000, but is that too much? And I'm like, pump the brakes, sis. Why would it be too much? Why is $10,000 too much? Well, I don't know. Like maybe I can't do it. And like, will that look like I'm being greedy? And I'm like, okay, now we need to look at your money mindset. Where did that
Oh,
blueprint
that's
come
another good
from?
one.
Right?
Money mindset. I love that one.
Absolutely. So I took a deep dive into money mindset actually, because I grew up in a family that I was taught we are humble, and you either, this is what my dad taught me, and if he didn't mean to, whatever, that's what I heard. You either have money and you're an asshole, you don't have good family relationships, or you're poor, you're humble, you're close to the Lord, and you have a close family. So when growing up, I had those two options. Now, when I find myself on my own, neither one of those sounded good to me. So I said, what do you want, Mary? And I said, I want money and I want great relationships with my family. And guess what? I have that. My kids are everything to me. I have great relationships with my kids. I have a great relationship with my partner. And we have money. I mean, we're not rich by any means, but, but I made that happen. And
So
I still truly care about people.
somebody taught me this recently. I want to say like in the last 10 years. People think that when you say you're rich, you have a lot of money. And granted, being wealthy is having a lot of money. But before you ever become wealthy, it's all about mindset. Your mindset has to be rich first before the money comes. The money is just delivered by Amazon after the fact.
Exactly. And that's exactly how I felt. Being able to have these opportunities in front of me and being blessed with children that are amazing, I do feel rich. And I am in that sense. Maybe not monetarily, but we have enough, right? We have a beautiful home, we have cars that run, and it's more than I ever thought possible. So when I was going through those challenges, it wasn't like waiting for something to happen to me so I could figure it out. I had the guts to go out and find something that I wanted to be, that I wanted to be a part of. I decided to do a triathlon. And then it created this whole time in my life where triathlon was like an identity for me. And then when I stopped doing triathlon, I kind of went through a reinvention again because I was like, wow, that was like really a part of me. Who do I want to be now? Not who am I now? Who do I want to be now? I still want to be healthy. I don't I don't want to spend 12 hours a week on my bike, but I want to continue with my health journey, right? So through those challenges, I had to look at my own money mindset. I had to look at what my relationships were going to look like. I had to look at what kind of person do I want to be in the world? Like you can choose to be an asshole, right? You can choose to go out there and be mean to someone, or you can choose to be kind and loving and be a contributing member of society. Like you choose that. That's not born in you. You can choose who you are. So through those challenges, that was hard. And sometimes I fell down. Sometimes I treated people that I regret how I treated them. When I was a teenager, I always said, I'm gonna live so I have no regrets. Yeah, that flew out the window real fast. You fuck up sometimes and you have regrets. That's just part of life. And that's something else that I had to come to terms with that, like, you're going to fall down, you're going to get hurt, and then you're going to get up, put your big girl pants on, and keep moving forward. And that's something else that I learned through challenges is, yeah, you get knocked down, sometimes big time, and
So
you
when
have
you're
to keep moving.
so when you're knocked down, like there, I mean, everyone cries. Like everyone has tears. Everyone has that moment in time where, you're just maybe by yourself or who knows, maybe with your dogs or whatever, but you're like, fuck, I'm up against it. I'm failing. You know what? It's okay to fail, by the way. Man, people sometimes realize they don't realize failure is temporary. And you might have
Mhm.
a bunch of failures in a row. Fail, 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 fail. Hey, who cares? Those are lessons. That's life. But when you're sitting there and you're crying, so everyone cries. Toughest guys in the world cry. How do you change your mindset? Because you got to change. You got to stop crying. You got to say, okay, hey, we cried. We got it out of our system. That's good. Now we got to do this. How do you change that mindset? How do you go from feeling sorry for yourself to starting to understand that, hey, you are bigger than this. You are meant for greatness.
That takes work. That really does take work. So recently, I lost my job.
You,
Um,
you're who?
I lost my job.
Wait
I
a
was
second.
laid off.
Wait, you lost your job or you got a new one?
I, both, actually, both. So he,
Mindset.
here's what happened. Yes, yes, mindset. But here's what happened. The day I was laid off, I was angry. I was pissed because it came out of nowhere and I was doing a damn good job. I was doing a really good job.
Some would say you were the most talented one there.
Well, thank you. I'll sign autographs later.
I mean, it's not like you got the nickname Sayonara.
Right. No, I don't. I have the nickname of Mary Day because that's who I am. So the day it happened, I was pissed. I was sad. I was lost. I decided, look, girl, you drink, you scream, you cry, you call all the people, you complain, you talk about what fuckers they are. And tomorrow you get up and you get back to work because now you're a free agent. You can do whatever the hell you want to do.
What happens when there's a free agent in professional sports? They're
They
happy
make
as a
more
pig in
money.
shit. They're like,
Yep.
oh, fuck yeah, because what? You're about to get paid.
Make it rain, baby. Make it rain.
You're about
That's
to get
right.
paid.
That's
You don't
right. And that's
realize how valuable you are till you're a free agent. People think, oh my God, I'm out of work. I'm out of work. No, you're a free agent. You can work for anybody. You can do anything you want. That means you're about to get paid. And that's all about mindset. You got to get your mind right before you get your money right, before you get your body right, before you get your life right.
right. So that's where that mindset change comes in. When I worked at Beachbody, there was a huge emphasis on personal development. And I had never really heard of that. So I was like, I don't really know what it is, but it's consuming things that create a stronger mindset. So you get to choose, right? So when I first started working there, I was listening to all these like Supergirl rah rah books. They're like, girlfriend, you are so amazing. You walk in there like you own the place. And I felt really good, like getting out of my car. I'm like, I'm ready for the day. I'm a badass. Let's do this. But then as I was talking to the people I was mentoring, they were saying they were reading these books that were like gutting them. They're like, that was a really hard book to get through. And I'm like, well, why? Because it picked out character flaws in myself and was teaching me how to make them better or teaching me how to create a new mindset for something. That's where that money mindset comes in, right? I had a messed up money mindset because of my blueprint. So I decided I have this scarcity mindset. I need to get it right. So I dove into money mindset. I dove into abundance mindset, changing all of that. So I I I listened to a lot of audiobooks. And I think that was kind of the catalyst of helping me rewrite who I wanted to be because I was exposed to so much good stuff and I was just constantly feeding myself these personal development books. Now they used to call them self-help or whatever, but personal development I think sounds better. So I think for anybody that's looking to change their mindset, it's possible. It's 100% possible, but you're going to get torn down and your feelings are probably going to get hurt because these authors have lived it and they got to get it out of you and you got to break it down before you can build it up the right way.
It's funny because in life, it's just like being in a boxing ring. I worked out at a boxing ring in Chicago for years. And it's amazing because when you first go into a ring or you first start getting fight, when I was a kid, I was 9 years old. I lived in Chicago, but I lived at 54th and Justine, which by the way was a little tough neighborhood, like really super tough. And
Oh.
every day, it was probably like every second day, I would come home. I had a choice. I could walk down the sidewalk and get my ass kicked by some guys drinking 40 ounces and getting drunk or slap me around, or I can go down the gangway and maybe get my ass kicked by some younger kids. So I just started going down the gangway all the time and down the alley and got home through the back door all the time. And it's funny because when you first get punched in the nose, you cry. You're like, oh my God, it's bleeding. Then you get your ass kicked for like a month straight and you get hit in the nose. The next time you get hit in the nose, even if you start bleeding, you're like, all right, let's do this shit. And you start realizing God toughens you up and he just
Mm-hmm.
gives you challenges and life punches you in the nose. Great. The first time, oh God, it's bleeding my nose. It hurts. But by about the 30th time you got punched in the nose, you're like, all right, no big fucking deal. Let's go. And
Right.
that's what life's all about is you got to get tougher skin. You got to be
Mm-hmm.
like a rhinoceros. People, it's funny. People think rhinoceros are the one that actually survived when the dinosaurs left. They think that it's a prehistoric animal. And if you think about it, like a rhino does look like a prehistoric animal. Like it's very built differently than any other mammals. And
Mm-hmm.
the neat thing about the rhinoceros is their eyes are on the side of their head right here. And in the front part, they have 6 inches of bone. Like, think about that, 6 inches of
Easy.
bone before their brain. So these rhinos, when they're like, fuck, I'm going that way, and they start charging, they don't know what's in front of them. So if there's a tree in front of them, boom, they run over it. If there's a mountain in front of them, they run over it. If there's a human being in front of them, you're fucked. But
Yeah.
because they can't see what's in front of them, they know, hey, I'm going forward. I'm not stopping. And you got to have that rhinoceros mindset in life. And that's one thing I learned. I read the book Rhinoceros I don't know if it's called Mindset or Rhinoceros. You ever read the Rhinoceros book?
No, I haven't.
It's
You
a
put it on my
60
list.
pages, best book you'll ever read. I'm not kidding you. Like literally one of the best books you'll ever read. And it literally teaches you how to have the mindset of a rhino. And the other thing about a rhino is a rhino has his eyes on the side. So for him to reassess something, he has to look to the side. He has to look around. He has to look all the way around before he understands, okay, this is the lay of the land. That's where I'm going. And that's what I always tell people. You got to be like a rhino. When you decide to go for something, be like the rhino. Don't stop. Don't quit. Don't listen to anybody's bullshit. Somebody gives you bullshit, run over them. Somebody tells you you can't, run over them. Somebody tells you you're going to fail, run over that motherfucker. And at the end
Mhm.
of the day, if it doesn't work, then start assessing the view of the land. Start looking around. Okay, look around at everything. Then decide, hey, you know what? Maybe instead of that way, I'm going to go this way. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, when you decide to do something in life, you got to be like a charging rhino. You got to not give the fuck up.
Right. Right. And I wanted to add to that, we were talking about failure earlier, and I learned a long time ago this that failure is faithful attempt in learning.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
FAIL, faithful attempt in learning. And it's true, but you have to use it the right way, like you said. Like if it doesn't work out, learn from it, look somewhere else, go that way.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the one thing, there's some like the Rhinoceros Success book that I just referenced. That book should be mandatory reading for every child growing up. Because if kids grew up wanting to be a rhino and having a rhino mindset at things in life, they would stop quitting. Because sometimes when you quit, like you quit like halfway through something, whatever, you realize after the fact, you're like, wait a second. If I would have just kept going, if I would have just stuck
Hmm.
with it, I would have had this huge success. But the only thing that fucked me up from getting successful was myself because I quit.
It's so true. It's so true. And I noticed that a lot. And I actually noticed that with me. Me personally was like, oh, I'm not good at this, so I'm just gonna stop. Like now in Ironman, I'm the slowest runner there is. So have I could have just stopped because I was a slow runner and I wasn't placing in my age group and whatever. But that wasn't important to me. What was important that I finished the goddamn race, that I did that. So, even if you're not the best at something, that's okay. If you enjoy it, keep doing it because that creates more of your character. And then you're going to find something you're good at, and then you're going to do that more. So even if you're not good at something, you may have something that has to do with that you can teach someone. Like for me, I'm a great swimmer. I'm very coachable when it comes to swimming. Can I teach swimming? No, I cannot. But I can teach someone how to cycle. Am I the fastest? No way. But I know a little something about that. I know a little something about something, but I'm not the best at it.
It's accepting that you're not always going to know everything that allows you to feed your brain. Like I always tell people all the time, you got to feed your body nutrition. You got to feed this thing right here. You got to feed this thing nutrition. In some cases, like
Yes.
about 15 years ago, I decided to shave my head because I started realizing, my hair was receding and I wasn't going to do the whole comb over and get plugs and all that bullshit. Fuck that. Mother Nature
Yeah.
wants to take my hair. God bless her. I'm just going to take the rest of it on my own. And it's funny because in some ways, I always refer to this part of my head right here where my brain is. And I always tap my head this way. And I always tell people sometimes you just have to remember this is part of your body. Like everyone, oh, hey, look at my nails. I got my nails done. well, hey, did you get your brain done? Oh, look, hey, I got my lips injected. Yeah, did you get your brain injected? Oh, I got my eyebrows done at the shop today. You see my eyebrows? Yeah, but did you get your brain done today? At the end of
Right.
the day, people forget you got to feed your brain every single day. You got to work your brain out. You got to feed. But every now and then, you got to massage your brain to get, oh, this is such a good brain. I love my brain. My brain feels good.
So good.
And people forget, like, your brain is so important. It might just be the most important, like brain and the heart. It's like 50-50. Which one's more important?
Mhm.
But it might
Exactly.
be the most important thing that guides your life. And people forget it. Oh, I got my
Right.
nails. Yeah, did you get your brain done?
Hmm.
Focus on what you're putting in here every single day. Feed your brain, feed it information about AI, feed it information about mindset, feed it the good stuff. And at the end
Yeah.
of the day, your brain is going to give you so many things that you want out of life.
But people get lazy. And I think that's the problem is it's really easy for me to get in the car and turn on my music and be like, oh, this is great, just bopping along, instead of loading up my audiobook, listening to my audiobook. It's really easy to
Do
be
you use
lazy.
what's that audio site? I
I
must
use
have like 1,000 books on there. Audible. Do you use Audible?
Audible. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
I literally live off
Love
Audible.
it.
I love Audible.
Love it.
And it's funny too
And it
because
was really hard.
I was gonna say it's funny too because when I read books, I get headaches, but when I listen to Audible, I just absorb the information better.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's all in the way that you learn, right? And I even tell people sometimes like when you listen to podcasts, it's great. You know, they might be 20 minutes long or whatever, but you're getting that little bit of something, but don't stop there. Go further than that. If you love listening to podcasts about self-development, dig deeper, get more in depth because you get these little snippets which are awesome. They're easy to digest, but it's a catalyst. It's like the gateway drug, right? To go into something more so that you can learn more and be more and become more. So it all comes down to self-development and like you said, what you're feeding up here and how that affects everything else.
What are three of the things from this talk that you want people to take and be able to build from? Take it and just literally make their lives better.
Three things. Okay.
Other than the Kona coffee, which we all know everyone should try.
Yes. So that's the extra. That's the extra one. The first one I think is work on your personal development because that is going to help you create who you want to be. Working on that personal development. It's just like a broken bone. It's not going to get better by itself if you don't fix it. Your head's not going to get better by itself if you don't put the right things in it. So the personal development is really
Yeah, I got you
important.
feeling
Start
your brain
small.
now. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
look at this. I love
I
this. This is
love
so
it.
good. I think I'm going to get my brain done today.
Absolutely. So that's number one, because I think that's the most important because to tear yourself down, to rebuild yourself, that's fucking hard. Number two is just get back up. For me, it really helps me to give myself a time limit of, you know what? Something shitty just happened. You're going to have this much time. You're allowed this much time to do whatever you need to do. If you need to go get drunk, if you need to cry, if you need to, whatever you need to do. But when that time limit is over, you better get the fuck up and get on with business. And the only caveat I would say to that is grief. Because grief is its whole other journey. So I don't want people to think that, oh, I've lost a loved one, I get 3 weeks to mourn. No, absolutely not. That's its own journey.
Yeah.
That also requires personal development, but that's not what this is about. So personal development, get back up. And the third one, I would say is be nice. You know, there's so much garbage in the world. And if you get cut off from someone, give yourself 5 seconds to get over it, right? Okay, they cut me off. Whatever, moving on, right? Like, be a decent human. Be a decent human. Don't be an asshole. That's what I teach my kids. If there's one thing I want my kids to do in their life is be a decent human.
Yeah, I think humanity needs better humans. And like you look at people like Elon Musk and what he's doing for humanity. You look at anybody. There's a lot of Mother Teresa's in the world that are doing little things, acts of kindness. In fact, it's
Mhm.
funny. I don't know what I saw yesterday, but it reminded me again. Sometimes it just takes a little act of random kindness to just literally change things in the world. You may not change the whole world, but if you do just little acts of random kindness, sometimes just say introducing yourself to somebody. Hey, my name's Chris. What's yours? Oh, great. Hey, listening to somebody talk, maybe having a cup of
Mhm.
coffee with somebody. Sometimes, every now and then I'll go and buy somebody lunch. And I don't care about the cost of lunch. And in some cases, I've bought people lunch that I don't even know. I was at an airport once, and some lady and her daughter she wanted to whatever, blah, blah, blah for lunch. And there was a pizza joint down the way. And I said, hey, I'm fat. I can't eat a whole pizza. You guys want to help? And her and her daughter came. I got to know her. They were going to Miami. I was going to Miami, blah, blah, blah. But that little kid had pizza, which she wanted. And we got the
Mhm.
chocolate and molten pie, and I can't have sugar. And I'm like, God, I made a mistake. I actually ordered this, but I realized I can't have sugar. I didn't order it for me. I knew the kid and the mom
Right.
would. And at the end of the day, I paid the bill. It wasn't because I wanted to make my ego shine or make myself on a pedestal. It's because I knew God wanted that kid to have a pizza. I knew that God wanted that kid to have a little chocolate molten cake. And at the end of the day, a little act of random kindness is all the world needs from time to time. And if you just do that a little bit, and if we all just do that a little bit, the world gets better.
Absolutely. And that's a beautiful example. And one thing that because I work from home, right? Like I don't go out. But if I do, sometimes I'll be walking down the street and there's a piece of garbage. I'll pick it up, put it in the trash can.
Easy.
Guys, it's that easy. Like I happen to love where I live. I
Now, I
don't have
will say
another
one
place to
thing.
go.
There are kids these days. So I had a similar situation. There's a park by my now house. And the kids were all having fun and playing around, but they were throwing like, their cans and stuff off the ground. So, I got the whole look and feel, so it works out good for me. I can be the grumpy old guy and say, "Hey, all you guys pick this shit up right now. There's a little garbage can over there. Shit doesn't belong here." And they're like, "Oh yeah, no, we were going to do that anyhow." And the fuck, you're
Mhm.
damn right you were.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I looked at them all and I said, all right, go have some fun, but let's keep the park clean. And sometimes, like people, I always tell people strong fathers matter more now than ever before. I just think strong leaders in our community, people have to be, kids need guidance, they need direction. Sometimes they need a wooden spoon. Now, I didn't go hit all the kids with a wooden spoon. I'm pretty sure the parents would have been like, officer, that's him, put him in jail. But at the end of the day, you can give kids a little strength by telling them, hey, this is the right thing to do. This is the wrong thing to do. Just do this. It'll take you a second and you'll feel better because of it.
One of my favorite things to do with my kids, uh, and I was a good mom. I just want it to be known. Like I was a good mom to my kids. They're 21, 19, and 16 now, so they're kind of doing their own thing. But at Christmas time, we would make a paper chain for Advent. So every day close to Christmas, we'd tear a chain off. But in our chain, there was always an activity, like go see Christmas lights or make a gingerbread house. But their favorite one every year was go through the drive-through in and out and pay for the car behind us.
Oh,
That
I love
was
that.
their favorite activity. That was their favorite one. And we would always be like, don't tell them anything. But so many times people would be like waving in the back window, like, thank you. And it's little things like that. Like, no, we're not changing the world, but that person, I may have changed their world
Little
today.
act of random kindness.
Yes. There was one time I was by myself and I just thought, you get that feeling of like you should do something. Or maybe you feel like crap that day and you're like, an act of service really does make you feel better. And I asked, I was like, I want to pay for the car behind me. And this kid had just gotten a burger. And I was like, was it like, did he not get a drink? And they're like, no, it's just a burger. And I was like, put a drink on there. Like, guys got to drink something. And I told him not to tell who it was, but it was another that stuck his hand out the window and it made me feel good. And I didn't do it for the recognition. Like I would have preferred to be anonymous, but to see how grateful people are
Well, I
is
got to tell you
incredible.
something about that too, because being anonymous when you do something good, I get it. It's a personal decision, but I got to share something else with you. I go to Sam's Club, and I don't know if you know this, but they have fucking unbelievable pizza and hot dogs. Like, I don't even know how they give that shit away for what they do, but my dogs fucking love their all beef hot dogs. So I go get the hot dogs. It's $1.38, but every hot dog comes with a soda pop. So I don't eat soda. I don't drink soda. I drink water, and this stuff's got like a little vitamin in it and blah blah blah. But just soda either has too much sodium or sugar, and both of those
Right.
don't work for me. So whenever I get a hot dog, like I'll get like 2 hot dogs for my dogs or 3. Yeah, I have some of the hot dog too, for just for the record.
And
And
now it comes out.
yeah, oh, trust me, I got those guys crush it on the hot dogs. I won't even tell you. Like tomorrow, I'm gonna go get a pizza. Like their cheese pizza, like Sam's Club does good job on the pizza. Like the pizza is great. But anyways, like when I get the 3 cups for the hot dogs, I always go in the line of people waiting in the line. I said, "Hey, who wants a soda? I don't drink soda." And kids will get it, and adults will get it, and I'll just give them away. And I've done that over and over and over again. And it's amazing. You just give them a soda pop, which came as part of the hot dog, and it's a large thing of soda, and they go to the machine, pick whatever they want. But for whatever reason, that makes their day. That's like a big deal. And people have seen me do that, and then other people walk around and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to do something nice and whatever." And when people see that, they realize it doesn't take much to make people's day. Here's an empty cup. I'm giving you an empty cup. Congratulations. And people are like,
Mm-hmm.
they're excited. They're like, "Oh my God, I got an empty cup. I'm going to go fill it up with soda." Now, granted, if I could talk to them for a minute, I'd say, "Listen, by the way, that soda, moderation, okay, moderation."
Right, right. And I think that's the second part of this is pay it forward, you know. If somebody lets you in a parking spot, pay it forward. A lot of times it costs nothing to be nice. It costs nothing to pay it
I
forward.
give away empty cups. Like it's an empty cup. They're excited.
Exactly.
Empty, you
Exactly.
get it, you give away an empty parking spot. And that's the other thing too. Like so many times people lose their mind in their cars over parking spots. And there might be like 100 parking spots way down at the end of the aisle. That's God's
Yeah.
way of saying, "Hey, fatso, you need a little exercise today. I'm just going to let you walk a little bit." I always tell people,
It's really, it's
I'll be
fine.
with a friend. We're driving. He's like, "Oh my God, that guy took my spot." Like, that's okay. There's like a billion of them over there. Yeah, but we got to walk. I'm like, that's God telling you, you got to lose some weight, buddy. Let's go. We got to
Yeah.
get, we got to get some walks in.
A mild inconvenience does not constitute a tantrum. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean,
come
you
on,
see
guys.
some videos out there. You're like, wow, people like it's more than a tantrum. People go
Oh, I
ape shit.
know.
Yeah.
I know. So that's my third one. Be a kind human.
Well, I'm glad we had this talk. I'm glad people are getting to know you. I think it's important that we're constantly letting people know who we are, what our values are, because people buy from people they like, but they don't get to know you and get to like you until you tell people stories of your life. And I know you're going to be doing a lot more podcasts pretty soon because I guarantee you people are going to see your face over and over and over again, and they're going to hear the story of your life. And the story of your life should inspire people to live a better life. So I think today was just a great start. She's Mary Day. Mary, where can they find you on social media?
Social media is the underscore Mary underscore day. So the Mary Day underscores.
Yeah, that underscore stuff always screws you up. People are like, "Oh my
I
God, I can't
know,
find
I
her."
know. The Mary Day. Yes. That's who I am. No, it used to be Mary Try Mom, but I had to change it.
That is true. She's Mary Day. I'm Chris Champion. Thanks a ton.